We did a smaller version of this, and at that one there was a father and his trans daughter who spoke to our group. One of the interesting pieces was that in Ossipee, the school system was changing their athletic policies in order to accommodate that young trans girl. So there are changes happening in places you wouldn't necessarily expect it. Kristen?
Oh, thank you, everyone. Hi, my name is Kristen Bustani. I'd like to first thank everyone here today for allowing us to be here to speak with you about a topic that's not only just important to myself personally, but to so many individuals in the state who are struggling like myself. I currently reside in Bridgewater, New Hampshire, up in the Lakes region. Not many people know where Bridgewater is, but if you know where Plymouth is, it's right next door. I'm a computer engineer. I work full-time at a Fortune 500 company serving the needs of multinational corporations on mission-critical systems, computer systems. I also serve my free time as co-chair for PFLAG of New Hampshire. That's Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, but also trans. And I work as co-chair president for them, providing support group meetings and providing a safe space for individuals to be able to meet, congregate, and discuss issues that are relevant to children who are struggling with LGBT issues, and to their parents, and to give support. Also a steering committee member for Transgender New Hampshire, whose mission is primarily designed as a support network outreach for individuals who are transgender and to allow them to interconnect. And as well too, it is an organization working towards legislative changes to help create more inclusive laws which protect all citizens in the state, which includes transgender individuals. Oh, and I'm also a transgender woman myself. And being transgender, I'll just give you a little bit of relative history here. I felt different from a very early age, probably from about age 4, I could say. But I didn't know girl or boy back then. I just knew that I liked to hang with the little girls and that I had a kindred friendship with them. I socialized more with them, or better with them, as girls socialize differently between each other and boys socialize differently. And I didn't realize any of this. I didn't have books. There was no word transgender. There were no support groups. There was nothing available back in the time that I was going to school in the 70s. And so I felt I was the only person out there. Today it's a lot different for today's children because they have the internet and they have the ability to interconnect. I found that because I didn't socialize as a boy, and as the girls and boys started to separate as you go through 4th and 5th grades, I found myself more immersed into my studies. And so I became more attuned to the professions of astronomy, meteorology, geology. I got into a lot of different aspects. And went on to school, obtained a computer degree. The house, the car, the job, the financial independence, all were attained. But I still wasn't happy. And the type A personality that I had did not construe an outcome that made me fulfilled. And I asked myself at age 45, why am I not happy? I've attained all of these things, everything is good in life, yet I'm still feeling trapped inside. In 2007, everything came to a head and I broke down at home. And I realized that I was playing a role in the theater of my own life, that I was playing an acting role as someone that I wasn't. And I was doing a darn good job at it, but I wasn't happy. And so I realized at that point that the material accomplishments of life are certainly not enough to make one happy, and that there has to be something more. And this comes from inside one's soul. So I began to explore life and interact with society as a woman. Scientific experiment. Let's go out and through empirical means ascertain. And I began to cogently assemble all of the pieces of my life together. And I sought out qualified therapists and doctors, and I talked with them. And they came up independently with the same conclusions, that I was a transgender woman. And so I found that my interactions with the world were fluid, and that with an innate socialization pattern akin to females, I was easily accepted in the world as a female, and so everything smoothly and comfortably progressed. I found I had a confidence that I never had before. I was outward in ways I never was, and for the first time in 45 years of my life, I was happy. There was no way, as a male, that I could actually sit here and speak with you without having an entire panic attack, because I was not happy with who I was. I was very uncomfortable. This is a total 180. If someone is gay or lesbian or bisexual, then that's their sexual orientation. That's who they want to be with. It's about who you see yourself with. But if someone is transgender, it's who they see themselves as, how they socialize in the world as a person. It's who they are inside, in their soul, as male or female, or in some cases, somewhere in between. It has nothing to do with their sexuality. And being transgender is just a small part of the all of who one is. It's not something that we should focus on. But in the state of New Hampshire, a person could still be discriminated against, could be denied a job, denied housing, denied services and public accommodations simply for being transgender or perceived as gender variant. And so, to those who would say that we already have laws in place that cover transgender individuals, I submit to you that the existing laws do not adequately cover the realm of transgender for citizens in our state. Today in the state of New Hampshire, we have laws in place that prevent discrimination based upon race, creed, sex, sexuality, but not gender identity. And that's the one piece that's missing, and that's the reason I'm here today. In the whole of New England, New Hampshire is the only state without non-discrimination laws in place for gender identity, while 14 other states in the U.S. and the District of Columbia currently have laws in place which prevent discrimination not only on sexual identification, but also gender identity. I'm fortunate to work for a very progressive Fortune 500 company that values all people for who they are, what they do, what they can contribute to the company for the profit, and it respects them for their contributions. In return, employees are given an equal and fair chance, free from the possibility of discrimination and the threat of a loss of a job because of their gender identity. I'd like to see New Hampshire striving to encourage inclusion for all of its citizens so that they would not otherwise be marginalized or outcast because of ignorance, misunderstanding, or because of prejudice. I leave you with a quote written by the illustrious Rod Serling, creator and principal writer known as the Twilight Zone. Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete. Thank you.